What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. I want to talk to you guys about Week 3 of the game that just happened, Monday Night Football, the big primetime matchup between the 0-1-1 Pittsburgh Steelers coming into Tampa to play the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game just ended, and I want to talk about all the despair in the city in terms of the football team. Pittsburgh being 0-1-1. And come to think of it, 0-1-1 is not really all that bad of a record. It's 1 tie and 1 loss coming into Week 3, but it's just how hopeless things have felt. It's all the drama with Le'Veon Bell not wanting to come play and then being up on the trade block this week, and Antonio Brown talking about being traded on Twitter and missing a meeting this week and being upset, and having the Browns come back and tie us after we had them beat for 3 quarters, and having our defense look completely horrible against Kansas City in a destructive loss. So it was the way we lost, and it was all the team drama that's got all the Pittsburgh fans a little worried. But we did finally get our first win tonight, 30-27. And I've got to tell you, while there were some encouraging signs of improvement, things did not look very good. We are now 1-1-1. We've got a better record than a lot of teams right now in the NFL. We're right in the thick of things in the AFC. There's really very few teams that look galvanized right now this early in the season, but Pittsburgh is not one of them, man. This game looked pretty solid in the first half. It was probably the best half of football we've played all season long. We went into the locker room at halftime ahead 30-10. We had 3 offensive touchdowns in the first half. Ben looked great with 3 passing touchdowns. The defense bent but didn't break. They had several turnovers. I think it was 4 first-half turnovers, including a pick-6 touchdown. So we were up 30-10. It seemed like we were going to come in and destroy this team and bring the Bucs back to earth and make all right inside Pittsburgh and have a big dominating blowout win. And that was not the case. We hung on by the skin of our teeth. 30-27. We did not score any points in the second half. The Bucs outscored us 17-0 and almost came back and could have tied or won the game in the end. So there are still many things we've got problems with. Number one, we came into this game tonight as the number 1 most penalized team in the NFL. And how did we answer and discipline ourselves tonight? 13 penalties for 155 yards. So the most penalized team in the NFL is now going to go in and be the most penalized team next week because 13 for 155 is inexcusable. I mean, roughing the passer calls, which you can say those are good calls or bad calls. You can be on whatever side of the fence you want with the Clay Matthews thing. I side with the players. I think these plays are too soft. They're being called too weak. But 155 in penalty yards. Just several crucial penalties. Lots of holdings, unsportsmanlike conducts, just dumb, uncoached penalties that just make us look bad. We did win the turnover battle this week, 4-1. But on both sides of the ball, we looked very porous in the second half. So we had this game won in the first half, and then the defense just started breaking in the second half. Joe Hayden coming back made a big difference. He made a play right on the first drive, knocking a ball loose. Had really good coverage overall today. I think Deshaun Jackson only had 2 catches for like maybe 25 yards today, which was Hayden was matched up on him. I would hate to see if it was Sensabaugh or Artie Burns, how much he would have done there. So good job by Joe Hayden playing man coverage and being physical today. But even still, in the secondary, they decided to start Cody Sensabaugh over Artie Burns, which I thought was a good idea. Turns out it didn't matter. They both stink. Artie Burns did have a forced fumble in this game, so I will give that to him. He did make a good heads-up play in forcing a fumble, but he got burnt on an extremely long ball to Mike Evans downfield, and he also got burnt on a big touchdown to Chris Godwin, where he wasn't looking back at the ball. He was holding downfield a lot, and he wasn't caught that often. Sensabaugh was getting beat all day long. The combination of Sensabaugh and Burns gave up, I think it was like, I don't know the exact stat line for Mike Evans tonight, but it was 137 yards and a touchdown. Godwin also was in the 70s with a touchdown. So again, Burns and Sensabaugh both look bad. Weren't looking at the ball. We're getting beat a lot on the outside. We're missing tackles as well. Continuing the bad coverage and bad tackling. Our linebackers. I love our linebackers as far as rushing the quarterback. They bat balls. They get sacks. They're physical in the front. But when it comes to covering linebackers, I said it about Kansas City's Travis Kelce last week. Tonight, Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard destroyed us again. O.J. Howard was in the 70s in receiving. So T.J. Watt and Artie Burns and even John Bostic, who I like, who had a very good game tonight, did not cover across the middle of the field very well. Brate and Howard just abused them for maybe 10 catches tonight in the tight end spot. And these linebackers are just not good in coverage, and the commentators called them out several times for getting beat downfield. So the coverage in this was bad. Fitzmagic didn't have a good first half at all. Three interceptions, including one for a touchdown taken back by the defense. But he wound up, I think, 30 of 50 for 400-something yards and 3 touchdowns. So second half, he was pretty much back to Fitzmagic again, and the defense couldn't stop anybody. So we had several drop balls by Godwin, thank goodness. Otherwise, the score could have been on the side of the Buccaneers. So with that being said, we did look good for the most part on offense, sans the fourth quarter droughts. So let me go ahead and get to some game balls and player standouts. Big Ben had a big game overall. A couple drives stalled with miscommunications. He and Brown still need to get on the right page, and he's still getting pressured a lot. The offensive line didn't play terribly great tonight. The guys were in Ben's face all night. Ben was getting knocked down a lot, even on balls he completed. So the 2 injuries, I think it was Gilbert and DeCastro that were not playing tonight due to injury. That line did not look very good tonight in blocking for Connor or for Ben. But with that being said, Ben still 30 of 38, 353 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. So had the pick on the very first drive, came back for over 350 and 3 touchdowns. Ben had a very good game overall, made some big plays with his feet, extended plays downfield, found Juju a lot tonight, found Vance McDonald downfield a lot. I think he looked great overall. Still needs to put together 4 quarters and not turn the ball over, but overall very good game from Ben, much needed bounce back. James Conner stat line, 15 carries for 61 yards and 5 catches for 34 yards. He did nothing in the first half. I think he had 1 catch for a first down. In the first half, nothing rushing the ball. 3 yards rushing was not effective in the first half at all. Second half, he played a lot better. Had a couple short passes that he made some plays on. Also, 3 or 4 big runs in the fourth quarter. Had a long of 27. Took his average totally up. I think he would have only had 20 yards rushing this game, if not for 40 yards in the fourth quarter. So nice clutch running by Connor. Was not super effective until later, but had a couple of catches and a couple of nice runs to help seal the game and run the clock out toward the end. So good for Connor there. Juju Smith-Schuster, 3rd week in a row over 100 yards as our leading receiver for the 3rd consecutive week. He's been our ace this year. He's been our number 1. He's been on fire. 9 catches, 116 yards. Vance McDonald, first full game back as the starter. He played a little bit last game, but he started tonight and played the full amount of time tonight. Looked like he was back from injury 100%. Was a very good downfield option. Had a big, long 70-plus yard touchdown with a nice stiff arm and running down the sidelines, looking very spry, very fast for a tight end. Overall, 4 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Big day for Vance. Good to see him back and healthy. He is a nice athletic option for us in the red zone, down the middle, and extending plays, so I'm glad to see him back. Antonio Brown, 6 catches, 50 yards, and 1 touchdown. Had a nice broken tackle for a touchdown in the first half. Ryan Switzer had a short touchdown. It was a 3 or 4 yard goal line touchdown on a little out route. Did a nice job there coming out of the backfield a few times. Had a couple little small plays, but he's a nice little extra wrinkle in there. He's a nice little speedy game buster. He can get some long stuff downfield, and he caught a short touchdown here today. James Washington played in the slot again. I like him. He had 2 nice catches today. He needs more targets, though. And defensively, there was a lot of times we looked better tonight than we have all season long. We did get 4 turnovers. We did get a touchdown tonight. We did bend but not break for the most part for about 3/4 of this game. In the late third to through the fourth quarter, we did break, and we did have a lot of breakdowns. Our coverage and our tackling both still need work, and so do our penalties. But here's some positives for you. I think John Bostic was our leader tonight. I love the way he played. I thought he was very physical. 6 tackles and a sack for Bostic. I really enjoyed his energy. I enjoyed his coverage. He did have 1 bonehead penalty, but overall I thought he played well. Mike Hilton played pretty solid in the slot corner. He had a fumble recovery and an interception tonight, so 2 turnovers by Mike Hilton. Very, very good work there with some splash plays for us. Artie Burns, despite getting burnt downfield several times and not looking for the ball, I think even being benched tonight, he still had a bad game, but he did have that one forced fumble, so that is a big play in his favor. Terrell Edmonds, interception tonight. He was starting for Morgan Burnett, who was injured. I think we did miss Burnett. The safeties don't cover that well, but they do tackle and hit hard. Edmonds has a nice way of being around the ball. He's a headhunter, and he looks for the ball in the air. He likes being around the ball, and he's pretty effective in the middle of the field. So he got a pick tonight. Good for him. Big game from Bud Dupree as well. Had a sack, an interception for a touchdown as well. So pick 6 and a sack today, I think, along with like 4 tackles. And then also Anthony Chickalo had a sack as well. So biggest plus for this team, creating splash plays and turnovers and getting pressure on the quarterback. I think I said we had 3 sacks here tonight. Even on the plays when Fitzpatrick was completing passes down the field, because our coverage wasn't great, we still were getting hands in his face. Javon Hargrave was in his face 3 or 4 times, had pressure on the interception for a touchdown play. Several times Bostic got big hits on the quarterback. Cam Hayward had some big hits that weren't recorded on the quarterback. So excellent pressure, which led to some turnovers, which was a big plus for our defense overall. So there were some positives. Again, I love the play of Big Ben tonight. Juju's consistently been great. Vance McDonald came to play big time tonight. Connor played big when it came to the fourth quarter, sealing the game up and keeping the lead at the last minute. Love the play especially tonight of Mike Hilton, Bud Dupree, and John Bostic. Those 3 are my big defensive MVPs. One more thing I have to say special teams-wise. Man, I don't know what's wrong with Boswell, but this is the 3rd game in a row where he's been a problem for us. He's been a minus for us 3 games in a row. He missed a couple of chances for game-tying and game-winning field goals against Cleveland in Week 1. He missed, I believe, a field goal and an extra point last week, and he missed an extra point this week as well, and also a 47-yard field goal, which was in the dirt. It was kind of rainy and dirty. But he did miss a 47-yarder. He was 1 of 2 tonight, missed the 47, and missed an extra point as well. So we've got some issues with Boswell. We just paid him a lot of money. Big contract extension, so you got to make the extra points. I understand missing the occasional 47-yarder in the dirt, but to miss back-to-back weeks with an extra point, and I think now 2 out of 3 weeks he's had missed field goals as well. So you've got to clean that up because our offense is not going to always put up touchdowns. You're going to have to score points there as well. So he's got to be on the lookout for that. So tell me in the comments, guys. Overall, Pittsburgh does finally get their first win. We're going into Baltimore next week. I think it might be a home game, but it's Sunday Night Football. Big primetime matchup with our division rivals, the Ravens. It's going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be nasty out there. Looking forward to this game a lot. Baltimore coming in, I believe now is 2-1. 2-1. Haven't looked great this season, but haven't looked bad either. Kind of inconsistent, I guess. But solid win last week. So going to be fun to see how this thing goes and who takes the reins of the division next week because Cincinnati just is coming off a loss as well. So they're 2-1. We're now at 1-1-1. So we're only basically a half game back from those teams. So going to be interesting to see Steelers and Ravens next week. What are you looking forward to in that game? And what are your impressions of this game? Who stood out to you on the Bucs and the Steelers? Who needs improvement and who gets a game ball from you? Tell me in the comments, guys. Until next week, I will see you guys next time. Take care.